What does it take to be a man? Today we have a very special guest from the Art of Manliness who has the answers for you. So hey guys, welcome back. I'm Eric from Cladwell.com, and we have with us
Brett McKay from the Art of Manliness.
Yes, very excited to have him here. And we're here at StyleCon 2015 in Atlanta, Georgia. You traveled from Oklahoma.
That's right.
Just gave a presentation, so it's just hot off the press here. And Brett, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Art of Manliness, kind of what it's all about and how it came about?
Sure. So I started the site in 2008, and the reason I started it was honestly, this is what happened. I was in Borders, the bookstore.
Yeah.
Looking at men's magazines, something I did a lot just to kill time. And I was looking at the headlines for all these men's magazines, and I just had this realization that every month it's the exact same thing with these things.
Yes.
It's always like how to get six-pack abs. You know, here's this expensive suit you need to have this season because, you know, and like as a broke law student, I was like, I'll never be able to afford that.
Yeah.
And even if I had the money, I don't know if I'd spend, $1,400 for a polo shirt.
Yeah.
Right. So the men's content didn't resonate with me. So I was like, you know what? There's this blogging thing. I'd been doing a little bit with it. It's free. I bought a domain name for $10.
Yep.
And I said, you know what? I'm going to start the men's magazine. I want to read. Yeah. And that's what I did. And what I found out, there was a lot of other guys who felt the same way as I did. They weren't happy with the men's lifestyle content being put out by the big guys.
Yes.
It just didn't resonate with them for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's very surfacey and just didn't feel
Yeah. And so it just I started the site in 2008, and it just took off like gangbusters. I mean, I haven't done any promotion. It's all been word of mouth, and it's been fun. So here we are, 2015, and we're getting 10 to 11 million page views a month.
Yes.
Just a great outreach, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's great. So what are, you talk about the lost generation of manhood.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened? Like, what were the biggest reasons?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a complex question. There's a whole bunch of things involved, whole bunch of factors. So I would say the big one is just modern life in general, right? Because a lot of the things that we think of as traditionally manly, we really don't need manly men anymore in our society.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right?
Yeah. It's really,
You can, one time men were the hunters. They had to provide, we don't have to hunt anymore.
Right.
You can just go out to the grocery store, go to Whole Foods, and get your grass-fed bison. Protection was often a traditional role for men, but we live in America. It's relatively safe here.
Yes.
And if there's a problem, you just call the police.
Yes.
Or we have a military that protects us.
Right.
So most men will never have to get in a fist fight, let alone a fist fight. And then there's all these other factors about modern life that sort of makes us, I guess, infantile. Not just men, but it's women too. Where this whole consumer mindset that your whole existence here is just to gratify your whatever you want.
Yes.
Right. And
it's all about you.
It's all about you, exactly. And for most of human history, being an adult, whether an adult woman or an adult man, meant that you provided, like you gave more to the pot. It wasn't just about you.
Yes.
But we live in a world today where that really.
It's hyper individualistic.
Hyper individualistic, exactly.
Yeah. As opposed to being for the family or the tribe.
For the family, for the tribe, for the community. And
yes.
I think that's what's like the biggest. That's the biggest problem. Those things right there, because it's just there's really no reason for men to have to develop those sort of like manly traits that you think of, because they don't have to.
Right.
And so like the solution to that is like if you want that, you have to just decide. Like, even though I live in this world that doesn't require this of me, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
Because one, I think it feels good. Mm-hmm. So there is that individual like that you want to please or scratch inside of you, but also I want to be useful to my family, to my community. I think it's a tragedy of our generation that everyone wants to be important, but no one wants to be useful. Everyone wants to create the cool, sexy business and do that, but like no one wants to do the boring, useful stuff that makes civilized society.
So I'm curious, as you've studied history and different cultures and philosophy, where do you see that road going if that continues, like in our culture today? Yeah,
that's a great question. I mean, if everyone sort of, I mean, who knows? We never know. It's hard to predict the future. I don't want to be a prophet because prophets are often wrong.
Yes. And killed.
But yeah, I mean, like you just sort of see a degradation in society. And who knows if I don't think there'll be a collapse. If there is, it'll probably be a long, long time from now. But if everyone just focuses on themselves and not for the greater good, then yeah, you're going to have some rough patches in life.
Definitely. So I'm curious with your site, you have all these different areas you cover of men's lifestyle, and there's ranging from finance to fashion to, parenting and relationships and different things. What are the messages that you see are resonating the most with this generation who are actually, they're seeking out manhood?
Sure.
Right? What do you see that's really like sticking with them?
Yeah, well, so our most popular content, if you're just looking at page views wise, is style content, like social skills.
Interesting.
And that makes sense because style is an easy place to start for guys for self-improvement.
Yes.
So you just buy some new clothes and you put them on.
It's really, we had Tanner on here the other day. He said something very similar to that. You can change it quickly.
You can change it quickly, but like the hard stuff, right? Like developing your character or developing whatever, that takes time. That's hard. And so
we have a culture that's not used to putting the time in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that you're saying that content even is like people even on your site, they'll gloss over that a little bit.
They'll gloss over because it's like,
it's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, it takes work.
And so my goal with the site is like, I'll do sort of like this. I do the style stuff because I think it's important. I think it's good to be able to know how to present yourself well because, people judge you on your appearance.
Yes.
And you might think that's dumb and shallow and mean, but
it's a reality.
It's a reality.
Yes.
So I think why style is important is that it opens up doors that otherwise wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
If you didn't. And then I hope people, as they read that stuff, they get to the other stuff, hopefully, that we write about, and it has an effect on them.
Yeah. We talk about this a lot where, and our goal at Cladwell is the clothing hopefully is the beginning of a conversation.
Yeah.
And it is something that you can change, and it's on the surface, but we want to dig down deep into the roots of your identity, of manhood, of roles. And hopefully the clothing starts the conversation and it starts to reflect the value and the worth that you are. Yeah. And hopefully you will dig down into some of those other things. That's kind of what we're about. So if we have our viewers out here watching this and that we're with Brett McKay, the Art of Manliness, what are some of those things that I'm actually looking, because people are actually searching for this, right? How do I be a man? Which is weird that we are Googling that today instead of asking our fathers. Exactly. But it's happening, and people come to your site because they're looking for how to be a man. They come to the Art of Manliness.
Sure.
So this is, obviously a 10-minute video, whatever, but like, what are some of those high level things that you feel like, hey, if you haven't had this kind of training and you want to be a man today, so just boil down all of your years and
years of research
into a 1 minute answer.
1 minute answer.
Or 3 words or less, I'm sure it's really easy for you.
All right, you guys gonna do some editing here. I'm gonna think about it for a bit. The magic of editing. I mean, I would say, like, look, start with something simple. Start with your style. Right, if that's something you can do, make that, because it's easy. Right, and it can make that the springboard for other areas of your life. And so after if style is your thing, improve that. And then I would say, develop skills and attributes. Like, here's the answer. Develop skills and attributes that will make you useful. Right?
Yeah.
So there's an anthropologist by the name of David Gilmour, and he studied manliness and masculinity across times and cultures, and he kind of synthesized what it meant to be a man. And one of the defining traits across cultures between a man and a boy is that a boy consumes more than he produces.
Yes.
Right? And a man gives more to the pot than he takes away. Yeah. So using that marker of what makes a man, you produce more, contribute more, is develop those attributes, those skills that will allow you to do that. So, whatever that is. So in your business, whatever your business is, be the best you can at it. In your personal life, in your community life, just find ways to be useful.
Yeah. And you said just from the stage up front, it's getting to a point of self-sacrifice putting others in front of yourself even. Yeah. And like, which is it's just such a contrary thing to the message that's being said in today's culture.
Yeah. So like, it's funny. Like, so like I'm reading this book right now, kind of hitting the lines. It's kind of interesting. So it's called The Hunting Hypothesis.
Okay.
And it's looking at humanity from an evolutionary standpoint. And the point this guy makes is that the reason human beings are the way they are is because they hunted.
Yeah.
Right. We're the only primate that hunts in groups. And he made this interesting point that hunting is what brought male cooperation. Because like in other primates, males, females, kids, they kind of they go find a tree, they go find some leaves, they eat the leaves, and they sort of they don't really help each other out.
Yeah.
But with hunting, like the men had to start cooperating.
Yeah.
And then you had to share what you had with the tribe or with the group. So you didn't just keep the prey or whatever to yourself.
Right.
So if we're going to take like a long-term view of masculinity, I kind of like that idea that being a man means nurturing in that way, like providing to your tribe.
That's why we see some of the tightest knit groups today are people who have been to war together. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
We have reunions of these World War II veterans, or whatever war, who you can't live, unless you're sacrificing for your brother alongside you, right? The band of brothers.
Yeah. And that's another point I like. I try to emphasize too is find your tribe, and by that I don't mean like everyone talks about like your online tribe, your online. I think if you think you have a tribe online, like you don't understand what a tribe is.
Yeah.
Right. Because a tribe requires you to interact with those people on a face-to-face basis on a regular basis.
You need that community. And I think one of the problems with young men today is that they don't have that sort of tight-knit community. Because we're all like in our hyper-individualistic world. And I think a lot of the problems that you see with people talk about with young men, what's wrong with them, juvenile delinquency, yada yada. It's like if they had a group, right, that they belonged to and felt a part of and that they're contributing to, that can do a lot to help them feel better. I think a lot of these problems would resolve themselves. Yes. That's great. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So if obviously there's a wealth of knowledge and content, and if our viewers want to go deeper and learn more about the Art of Manliness and in your writings, what should they do? Where should they go?
artofmanliness.com.
That's it. Okay. So go check it out. There's podcasts, there's videos, there's articles, there's all kinds of content to devour. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For joining us today, guys. If this is your first time here, we do style tips for the everyday guy on our channel. Please subscribe. Lots of content there. And go check out Cladwell.com where we help you dress better. You can get your personal roadmap to dress better. So from the Art of Manliness mouth, that's a great place to start and how to be a man. So again, Brett, thanks so much for joining us. And guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.